Okay, let's talk about division here for a moment. First of all, let me say that nobody likes division when they first get started, and especially those students who struggle a little bit with their math facts to begin with. Now, all of our students, we've shown essentially two ways, actually three, but we're kind of sticking with the two most common ways for doing division. Now, if you've seen your students do some of this at home, one of the ways probably looks nothing like anything you saw when you were in school. By the way, I'm trying to do this video without editing, so you'll have to forgive me if I have to go back and edit something I said or repeat something I said. It just makes for a faster video. So let me get started. The old traditional way of doing division is the steps divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. And that's what we were practicing today. One of those things that, once you get the hang of it, is a breeze, provided you know your math facts at least well enough to write them out along the side of your page. And I encourage students who don't know them automatically to go ahead and do that. So I know for this one I need my threes. So I'm just going to write out a few of them here until I think I've gotten close enough that I won't need to do a whole lot more. I'm already up to 3 times 6. And I'm going to stop there and I'll show you why. The students know that they need to multiply 3 times something to get as close to 23 as they can get without going over. So I wrote out my 3's here and I see that the closest I can get is right there, 21. And that's 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right above the 23, not above the 2, but above the 23, I write the 7. The reason I don't write that above the 2 is because I didn't divide 2 into groups of 3. You can't do that. I divided 23 into groups of 3. So that's our divide step. Now I'm going to go to multiply, and that's what we did right here. We know that 7 times 3 is 21. That's my multiply step. Subtraction. 23 minus 21 is 2. That's that subtract step. And now I've got to bring down. And in this case, what we're bringing down is the number that's hanging off the edge here by itself. That comes straight down, turning this 2 into 24. Then I go back up to the top. And I'm dividing again. I'm asking myself, if I have 24 of something, how many groups of 3 can I make out of that? Well, I haven't gotten to 24 here, but I do see that if I continue with my 3's, I'm going to get right to 24. So 3 times what is 24? Or how many groups of 3 can I make out of 24? Well, if this was 7, then this has got to be 8. And I'm going to write that right above the number that I brought down. Lining up these numbers when you do this is of the utmost importance. Otherwise, when the problems get bigger, you'll get lost in what you're trying to bring down or what you're subtracting. So that's my divide step. Multiply is 8 times 3. That's 24. Subtract that. There's nothing left to bring down. So I don't need to go back up to the top. In fact, I'm done here. The answer to this, the quotient, is 78, and there is no remainder. It's not necessary to write remainder 0, but at this point I certainly wouldn't mark that wrong if a student wanted to put that to be confident. So let's take a look at the other way that we're doing division, this slightly larger problem. There is a trick to this one. The kids seem to like this way better. The only problem is they're making too much work for themselves, and I'll show you what I mean by that. When we set this problem up this way, we're going to take that big number, 7,264, and we're going to distribute some of it at a time. In other words, we're going to divide kind of trial and error, a little bit of guesswork, until we've gotten that number as low as we possibly can. So 3 or less. And here's what I mean by that. I've told the students they can really choose any number they like to get started, providing it's a number they can multiply easily. I recommend multiples of 10, 100, 1,000, so on, or 20, 40, 60, 800, 2,000, as long as it's a multiple of 10, meaning it ends in 0. Now, what a lot of students are doing is starting off with real small numbers. They might put, for example, the number, get my pen back here, they might put the number 10 out here. Okay, what is this number out here doing? Well, that's sort of like putting the numbers up here because that's the divide step. Multiply is 10 times 30, and we're going to subtract 30 from 7,264. Okay, so 4, 3, 2, 7. Now it works, and we can keep doing that, but you can see what's going to happen. If I keep just multiplying by 10, this list of subtraction problems is going to go all the way down the page, and we don't want to deal with that. Even if I go 100, I'm only taking 300 at a time. So what I've told the students to do, much like over here, I ask myself, can 3 go into this 7? Well, sure it can. We know it can go in twice. But we don't just want to take out 2. That's in the thousands place, so we want to take out 2,000 at a time. Now, the mistake students are making right here is they're putting 2,000 out here, but then they're also just subtracting 2,000 here. We're taking 2,000 out 3 times, so we put 2,000 out there on the right. Oop. I'm trying to get the hang of this writing on the screen using the mouse or my finger here. So divide, multiply, subtract. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now again, you can go back to something like 10 or 100. But if you stop and think about it, we're looking to see if this 3 can't go into 1, but it sure can go into 12. In fact, we know that 3 times 4 is 12, but it wasn't just 4. We need these 2 zeros right here. It's 400, because 3 times 400 is 1,200, or 1,200. That's 400 times 3, divide, multiply. Subtract. And now we've made this a nice, manageable number. Now we can go back to the number 10. 10 times 3 is 30. And at this point, if you know that you can do 11 to get this number all the way down, you're certainly welcome to do that. But some of the kids like to get down as low as they possibly can, like single-digit numbers. I can only make one more group. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm trying to do this without scrolling down the page there. Subtract it, and I have 1 left. So that 1 that's left at the bottom on the left-hand side there is our remainder. Our quotient, our answer, is adding up what we did over here. So that's going to be 2,421. Now, if we multiply this number times this number and then add the remainder, we should get the dividend. We should get this number in here. That's really the best I can do. Those are the 2 big ways that we teach how to do division. I hope this video helps. We're going to work on division for the rest of this week right up until Christmas break, and hopefully we've gotten as many kids on board with it as we can. We'll need to move on to fractions once we return. If you have any questions, or there's anything else I can do to help, please let me know.